future. You're gonna wanna get ready. You're gonna wanna get ready. You're gonna wanna get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. Here we are making history. Higher than we've ever been. You're gonna wanna get ready. Get ready, get ready. Welcome to the future.
Hello and good morning. My name is Arjun Vishwanathan and I am the Chief Research Officer at Strategy. And I will be your host today. I trust that each of you and your loved ones are doing safe and sound. I'm immensely pleased to welcome each of you to the Dell PowerStore Powering the Future of Intelligence event. This event is sponsored by Dell Technologies and crafted by Strategy. A quick look at industry over the past few months will tell us that given the nature of the COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant industry-wide disruption, it is perhaps but natural that CIOs and IT leaders plan to implement ecosystem, application, and infrastructure control systems founded on interoperability, flexibility, scalability, portability, and last but not the least, timeliness. This is borne out by detailed analysis from analyst firms such as Gartner, IDC, to name a few amongst many others. Businesses today are not only generating exponentially more data than we did perhaps a decade ago, we are equally using it in many, many different ways. Most businesses have gone way beyond the need to simply store and protect data. They now need to access it, compare it, analyze it, share it, sell it, and move it fast and frequently to truly become the intelligent enterprises of tomorrow. The need of the hour, therefore, is for storage solutions that offer organizations the ability to facilitate digital operating models by delivering almost instant data access with no mechanical overheads. The imperative, therefore, is for modernization, albeit in a cost-effective manner and such that does not create huge overheads that CIOs and IT leaders are grappling with in the face of reduced or no increased budgets. Do more with less is clearly the mantra for organizations moving ahead. Over the course of the next 60 odd minutes, I'm extremely pleased to inform you that we've put together some very, very interesting dialogues, discussions, and keynotes, such as will help place the perspective squarely on storage solutions for the promise that they enable for Indian industry to eliminate traditional trade-offs in performance, scalability, and storage efficiency. With, of course, a data-centric, intelligent, and adaptable infrastructure orchestration that transforms and mobilizes both traditional and modern workloads. The future of storage, ladies and gentlemen, is truly now. In order to put together this immersive event, we decided to speak to a wide range of CIOs and IT leaders across an equally wide spectrum of industries, sectors, and verticals to fundamentally understand how dramatically changed priorities in a post-crisis situation perhaps mandates organizations to view storage solutions in a more strategic fashion. We therefore spoke to three very, very diverse CIOs and asked them to articulate their perspectives of storage solutions to drive an acceleration of intelligence and agility within Indian enterprises. And the first CIO that we spoke to is someone that I'm going to introduce to you now. Join me in welcoming Mr. Chandresh Dedia, Group CIO at Cent Health. And we've basically asked Chandresh for his views on how storage solutions must be strategically viewed for their flexibility to run applications with unprecedented mobility and operational consistency. I now have Mr. Chandresh Dedia articulating his views.
Hi guys, this is Chandresh Dedia. I lead the IT at Ascent, Wellness. We are one of the largest B2B pharma distribution company in India. So the business transformation or digital transformation as we speak, right, requires a lot of changes at the back end when it comes to your data as well, right? If you look at the traditional or the legacy uh, data management or the infrastructure. These are traditionally not something which will take you in the future, right? I think for many organization, it has to be an hybrid journey with on-prem as well as cloud storage. And for some it would could be only cloud storage, which can also be sort of a private cloud. uh, Hypothetically, the storage as we speak is something which is not very often spoken about. We always talk about tools, processes, and people, when it comes to digital transformation. But I think storage as a component of the entire process is also equally important to identify and ensure that these are properly discussed. You look at the right kind of storage which is going to be part of your digital transformation journey, which will ensure that all the data points that you have for your journey are calculated for and will be functional for these kind of storage. If you look at the storage, uh, the workforce of today, or whatever you may call it, and of course there are different parlances now. um, I think storage is going to be a critical component because most of the data for these workforces will be either centralized, or it may be decentralized. But at the same point, these will be the storage on which your data will rely. Secondly, I think from a throughput perspective, it is equally important to ensure the storage that we look at or we select has a good throughput, because the moment you actually talk about mobile workforce, you're actually talking about these kind number of offices, right? So if you say I have 500 users working from home, you technically have 500 offices which will require some amount of throughput, right? Now, again, all these 500 users coming to one single location, working on certain kind of different tool sets, the data and the processing and the throughput. And when I say throughput, it may be both from an iOS perspective as well as network perspective, needs to be absolutely well calculated. A good capacity management needs to be done there. And I think this is something where you need this flexibility, where you at a let's say minutes notice, you are able to upscale that infra, or upscale the storage size, or upscale the IOPS, to add the additional 10, 20, 30% of additional workflow workforce. So I think it is going to be very, very important for a storage to have these flexibilities, to ensure that your business runs well, one. And second, it actually is able to take the additional load and not taking days and weeks and months to provision. If I have to summarize, storage modernization from its past to the present and to the future, if the success has to be let's say assumed for digital transformation for any organization, these data storage let's say infrastructure are going to be super critical. One, because you started from something 2 decade back, and then last decade, and if you see all the touch points with the businesses have been converting to digital, right? And like I would like to let's say cite an example in finance industry. You had a lot of paperwork, right? At least a decade back, I'm sure it was. And the only digital transformation that was happening was at backend and not at front end, not at the customer side, but at the backend, right? Where the forms were being digitized. If you look at the status or the story now, absolutely everything from the customer to the backend, everything is digitized, which means going forward, businesses will have absolutely everything. Almost the entire ecosystem will be digital, which was not the case, a decade back or 2 decades back. So I think storage as a component or the entire digital transformation journey is going to be super critical. Flexibility, agility, availability, and the integrity of that data is going to be super critical, right? From a traditional perspective, it was still okay for you to pause certain process. As of today, it is going to be impossible, right? I mean, people do not want the process to be stopped, and in most of the cases, apart from the regular storage, you also have other complementary technologies which are aiding these digital transformation. If not to say native digital transformation, these are supplementary technologies which are aiding the digital transformation. So I think storage from a perspective uh, needs to be looked at for a digital transformation, is going to be a super critical component. uh, the only thing we should look at when you look at a storage as a important lever of the entire digital transformation process is one, how quickly you can scale that system. Second, how agile that system is, right? What kind of data can that system accommodate? Third, it has to be available, right? It can be availability of data of any kind whatsoever. And then of course the integrity of that data, and of course the other tools that you get along with this in terms of analysis of that data.
Thank you, Chandresh, for your extremely well thought out articulation. And as we move forward, I'd now like to welcome and invite Mr. Balaji Raghunathan, Associate Partner Technology and Capability and Head Digital Experience at ITC Infotech, to join us and share his views and perspectives on how the explosion of data today mandates new age storage systems that will predominantly and very radically define the foundation of intelligence via scalable storage for today's and tomorrow's most demanding workloads. The floor is now with Mr. Raghunathan.
Hi, I'm Balaji Raghunathan. I'm an associate partner in the digital experience unit of ITC Infotech. I handle the technology, competency, and the pre-sales portions for anything related to data, AI, and customer experience. Today, we see that more and more organizations are looking at, becoming an intelligent organization. They are looking at intelligent use cases as part of their business modernization journey. So typically, if we look at the drivers from a business modernization perspective, especially in the post-pandemic world, or I would say after the pandemic world, a lot of the use cases revolve around how resilient is your business. So that would probably mean for a manufacturing organization, that would probably mean how is your supply chain resilient? Or even for a retail organization, it could probably remain the same in terms of how intelligent is your supply chain operations. So all these need you to actually collect, and process both big data as well as fast data. So what that means is that your infrastructure, your data, your application, all these need to be modernized. It needs to actually scale up. It needs to be highly performant. It needs to be highly resilient to any downtimes. And this should actually facilitate, real-time access to data from any device, from any location. So that is how organizations are actually looking today in terms of what are the capabilities they need for the intelligent businesses of tomorrow. So again, I would look at it in terms of three different tires. That's the infrastructure modernization, the data modernization, and the application modernization. And as part of infrastructure modernization, what we would look at is more in terms of compute modernization, the network modernization, the storage modernization. Essentially, that's how we look at intelligent operations of tomorrow. If I look at from an intelligent storage perspective, uh, I would tie it back to the use cases, what I would need as part of an intelligent business. So we need to actually look at it in terms of the different tires. So I would say whatever you need from a highly performant tire, that's probably your tire zero. And then you can actually use that for your e-commerce or your customer experience or your real-time kind of use cases. Then the next tier would actually comprise of wherever you can afford your batch data analysis, your data mining. And then we go to the third tier, which is essentially about how would you archive your content. So that is how I would actually look up at how would I look at intelligent storage solutions perspective. And typically, the way I would look at intelligent storage perspective is it should be auto scalable. It should be auto integrable. When I say auto integrable, it should be able to integrate with, say, a hybrid data center or a cloud. So that is how I would actually look at it. So, and I do know that typically in today's intelligent storage solutions, you have basically an OS. Which actually would enable you to control, it will enable you to monitor, it will enable you to manage your storage requirements on demand. It would enable you to auto replicate. So I think that way we do see that more and more providers are actually bringing in more manageability components, more usable components from an intelligent storage solution perspective. So typically, what I would need is something which can, look at caching my most often requested data. I would look at essentially having a kind of a controller and a kind of storage, and the storage should be able to handle all my tier 1, my tier 2, my tier 0 requirements. That's how I would look at an intelligent storage solution. Yeah, while we talked about the tiring, we would also need to keep our grounds on the feet, which means that as we speak, most of the organizations, they are on more in terms of a HDD kind of storage solution. And now, how do we move towards an all-flash storage device or an intelligent storage device? I think intelligent storage mechanism. I think that is how we would need to look at from a storage perspective. I've seen a lot of organizations move based on their particular use cases and requirements. So essentially, it is necessary to look at how much data you want to process, what data you want to process on one axis. And if you look at the x-axis, that would also be in terms of the cost. So essentially, you can store all the data, you can process all the data, but would the budget what you have, would the cost what you have, support it? So that is where I think the tiering of the solutions comes into picture, and where you would need to use whether you want to go all flash storage, or whether you want to continue being in SSD, or you want to get into a kind of hybrid model. That is something I would strongly recommend. So essentially, look at what is the data you want to actually store, what is the kind of data you want to process, whether you want to do deep learning, or you want to look at it only from an analytics, business analytics perspective. I think all these come into picture, and then you decide the tier and the kind of storage solution you want and the kind of interoperability you want before deciding on the right storage solution for your intelligent ops.
Thank you, Balaji, and most supremely, if I may say so, articulated. And as we head towards the conclusion of this particular segment in this event, I have the immense pleasure in inviting Mr. Ashish Chakrabarti, Head IT and Security, the Harbinger Group. Ashish is predominantly going to be speaking about his views and perspectives on the role of storage in orchestrating intelligent storage solutions for the enterprises of tomorrow, as well as the aspects around fiscal prudence of storage modernization. I now place the floor to Ashish.
Hi, myself Ashish Chakravarti. I head IT of Harbinger Group. Intelligent enterprises has to take care of the intelligent storage. It's a very important aspect. We always see that it's data, it's very critical. Data is a new oil. Everybody is talking about it. But if you look into that, the data is stored on the storage, which is very, very critical aspect of your organization. If you can't look into the optimization or intelligent what I want to say, intelligent storage system, it's not going to give you that output which you are expecting. So I'll say start looking into intelligent storage system. Now, when you talk about intelligent storage, what do you mean by that? That means it should have a simple management module, then should have a simple integration with all the applications which is moving around the organization, and it should have a high performance and scalability, which is the most important part of it. And on top of it is high data analytics, because everybody is looking into the intelligence of the data which is already there within the organization. So it should have some level of analytics which will help it to scale up and scale down based on the need. And next come, what I want to see is business modernization and storage modernization. When we talk about storage modernization, if you look at the old architectures, nobody has upgraded their system. It's still running on the old models. It's a steam old backup mechanism, offline, online modes. But we need to have a different way of looking into the storage thing. So my storage mantra is always do a first look into the future requirement. Everybody should look whether my current storage will fulfill that. If not, think of a modern storage thing which is coming up. It will give you lot many insights in a much simpler way. Earlier, what we used to have is we have to have a guy, we used to take a backup, then it's put it in offline mode, and whenever the restoration is to happen, he has to get that backup back to company, and then restoration will happen. That's not going to work anymore. What I want to say is we need to think beyond that. Now that time is, everything is online, everything wants to be quick. At this time, I want this to be restored back, and I want some analysis has to run on top of the data. Is the new oil. So how do I do that? So we need to think on those lines and build our storage architecture in such a way that it cater to this model world. The third part always is saying that then the next question comes up is whether do we able to cater to the cost if we want to upgrade our storage architecture or storage system. Yes, we need to look at that aspect also. Now, when you are doing a upgradation of your storage platform, you need to look into various aspects. First, it should not be so high that no, I cannot afford that of type of intelligent system to in our company. So look into the cost aspect also in such a way that it fulfills your look into the future requirement, also to the current budget also. That's my storage mantra. And always do an audit. Just don't keep on adding your storage on top of year on year. There will be a fixed budget, but don't do that. Do an analysis, do an audit, which people don't do it. Keep on adding your storage every 3 months, every 6 years, or sorry, 6 months, I want to say. And the data is just piling up. These intelligent data systems which are coming up will do a beautiful analysis on a single window pane, and you can see what's happening. You can see everything at a single pane of window and quickly can take a decision on that. That's what I want to say. You please segregate your data, active data and passive data. And when the active data is the data which is required to be used on a daily basis, passive data, back it up on a tape or some other mechanism or old mechanism, and then park it. The cost of active data is much more in, and that's why I'll suggest to go for this new storage mechanisms. That's my mantra to the senior IT leaders. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish, and that is extremely well thought out and articulated. Chandresh, Mr. Raghunathan, and Ashish, thank you so very much for sharing your views with us on the whole concept of how storage modernization must be viewed in a radically different and strategic manner than was previously well crafted. So thank you very much. And for the folks in the audience, I hope you're enjoying yourselves as much as I am in bringing each of these segments of this episode to you. Do remember, of course, that while we have an action-packed set of conversations ahead, we'd really, really like you to fill out the feedback form at the end of the session, at the end of this event. Your feedback is very, very important and valuable to us because it helps us orient and curate more such content uh, and experiences for you in differentiated manner so that you enjoy yourselves and actually take back a few things that you could implement today and tomorrow for the acceleration of Indian industry. As we move forward in this episode, I now have the privilege of inviting Mr. Granger Wallace, Senior Vice President Cloud and Data Storage Solutions at Dell Technologies. We reached out to Mr. Wallace to share his global experience, expertise, and more importantly, the application of storage solutions and modernization into India's emerging requirements and shifting landscape of data management and storage, of course. Mr. Wallace, in his keynote, will articulate such fine nuances of storage, such as will assist Indian industry to forge more resolute and intelligent strategies ahead. Over to you, Mr. Wallace, for your keynote.
More data-centric, more intelligent, more adaptable. Be ready for what comes next. With Dell EMC PowerStore, our customers have achieved unprecedented freedom to evolve their IT, to become more agile in a rapidly changing world. Now it's time to focus on what comes next. Are you ready? We're taking PowerStore to the next level with a powerful software update that delivers new enterprise innovation across the PowerStore portfolio. Plus, we've created a new cost-effective entry model that makes it even more accessible. The software update boosts the baseline performance of every PowerStore appliance, making them up to 25% faster, depending on your workloads. We've also added NVMe over Fiber Channel support to extend speed and low latency all the way to the host, while making sure you can use existing SAN infrastructures. New Intelligence prioritizes performance, optimizing even your heaviest workloads. Proven features like intelligent data reduction and our dynamic resiliency engine have become even smarter, working in the background to automate your IT's efficiency and availability. And enhanced SCM support offers more flexible ways to incorporate modern technology. With PowerStore's Apps On, you can now consolidate more workloads by clustering multiple appliances together. Scale Out with Apps On allows you to add compute and storage resources independently as needed, with unprecedented mobility from core to edge to cloud. And to dramatically reduce entry cost, we've introduced PowerStore 500. Now, more IT organizations can experience PowerStore's unique blend of performance, cost efficiency, and flexibility. It's all part of our plan to have PowerStore evolve with the changing world. Whether you're an existing customer or brand new to the PowerStore platform, this latest release will bring more agility to your IT environment, so you can be ready for what's next.
I'm really excited to be here. We've got a great lineup. But before I get started, I just wanted to say a very big thank you to all of our customers and our partners that are attending today, but also for your business and your loyalty. We exist because of you, and your loyalty is very important to us, so thank you again. So today, I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking about data, one of my favorite subjects. Let's take a step back and look at where we are today and what we already know. We are in this data era, which is so important to people and to businesses right now, because data is what is connecting the physical and digital worlds. The world has changed considerably in the last year. However, let's not forget that it was already in rapid change and heading down this innovation path at a great speed. The pandemic did force your organization to accelerate your digital strategy and to create innovative new digital experiences for your customers and for your employees. So the bar has been raised and everyone is in a race right now to deliver digital, capture business value from data, as well as create new ways to deliver the ultimate customer experience to stay ahead of your competitors. I haven't met any CIOs in the last 12 months who have told me that their job has gotten easier. So, your role has become even more complex and challenging. IT organizations are struggling to keep up with the pace of change and, more importantly, developing the skills necessary to manage change and to stay ahead and win this race. We know data continues to accelerate at astonishing rates, and that despite an overwhelming choice of companies out there offering different ways to store, provide products and platforms, secure your data, off-prem, on-prem, traditional IT, multi-cloud options, it's pretty much a continuum. And like a continuum, finding ways to manage your data feels like a continuous cycle where all parts are very similar, but the ends are, or the extremes of it, are different from each other. To be able to innovate with data and truly drive digital progression, it all starts with the maturity and how you can collect, analyze, secure, and act on data so that you can be ready for whatever's next. Let's not forget that data is the single greatest resource already available today. In fact, less than 1% of all the data in the world is analyzed and available to turn into business intelligence. I firmly believe that managing data better is the greatest untapped opportunity to unlock new value and drive new paths to innovation. And this is where we can help you. In fact, findings from the Dell Technologies' latest Digital Transformation Index survey indicated that 96% of those organizations who are digital leaders say their ability to collect, analyze, and act on data has made it easier for them to adapt and survive in these uncertain times. And, these have been uncertain times. In fact, we'll send you a copy of the index as part of our follow-up, as well as access to an online assessment so you can get started and we can start to help you. So if that wasn't hard enough, there are more challenges. I'm sorry to say that. The new realities of the data era mean that you'll need to rethink where, how, and when you generate, store, process, and act on data to create new value. The world is becoming increasingly hyper-connected, with McKinsey reporting that 127 new devices are connected to the Internet of Things every second. So in the time it took me to tell you that, 500 more devices have just been connected, many of which could be in your own organization. Data is also going to be hyper-distributed. We've heard a lot about the edge. There are going to be dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of edge locations. In fact, Gartner predicts that by 2022, more than 50% of enterprise-generated data will be created and processed at the edge. The scary thing is that this is up from less than 10% predicted in 2019. So the acceleration is huge. On top of that, business requirements are changing and data needs to be analyzed and acted on at hyper speed to meet rising consumer expectations. Many of today's data management strategies are fit for a world where insights and outcomes could have been delivered in days or at best case hours. But Forrester predicts that all data will need to be consumed in real time in the next 5 to 10 years. The question is, how do you get the modern technology, people skills and processes and everything you need to innovate with data and create new value at the speed your customers, partners, and employees demand? And again, this is where we believe we can help and earn the right to be a strategic partner to your business. If Michael Dell were here, he would tell you that at Dell Technologies, our purpose is to drive human progress through greater access to better technology for people with big ideas all around the world. We have actually over 127,000 customers across Asia Pacific and Japan alone, and we strive to earn the trust of organizations of all sizes, verticals, and geographies around the world to enable them to collectively store, process, and protect more data than anybody else on the planet. We have lots of examples to illustrate the breadth and depth of expertise that Dell Technologies has to create new value by innovating with data. From the largest banks and financial institutions, farms, universities, to autonomous mining, lots of examples there. And actually, we're fortunate enough to hear from Mr. Jed Lumain in a fireside chat with Samash, who will talk more about how the role of a CIO has evolved in the past year, plus their partnership with Dell Technologies. So, despite sometimes feeling like your challenges are unique, I'm confident we have the experience to be able to help you and your organization. So we've established that you're not alone in this. And just like you, we at Dell Technologies are also on a journey to create more value for our customers by innovating with data. We're creating smarter, more connected products, data-driven business models, and personalized integrated experiences at the same time that you are. We use the same strategies, guidance, products, solutions, and services. We make the same mistakes as well to transform our own business as we recommend to you to transform yours. An example of this would be our latest flagship product, PowerStore, which is built-in machine learning to automate labor-intensive processes. It has Cloud IQ that generates predictive analytics, again, using ML. And a Precision Optimizer that learns application behavior in real time, again, using ML. And let's not forget PowerMax, a well-loved product around the world, analyzes millions of data points real time and makes billions of decisions every day to optimize storage performance within your environment. We're also working to make our business processes more data-driven. So we're running optimally with the best information available to drive tactical and strategic decisions. We have more than 550 AI-oriented projects in motion and over 200 AI experts driving AI into all aspects of our operations, whether it's better forecasts for manufacturing, better marketing intelligence to identify customer trends, or better failure prediction and mitigation on hardware components. AI is creating new value in many of our business processes. Another example is our Dell Technologies services. Very important for you. Drawing on intelligence from 25 years plus of pioneering automated support technology that's fed by over 55 million connected devices, our customer support organization can anticipate and automatically fix potential failures using this data. And lastly, we're also creating personalized integrated experiences for our customers on Dell.com, which is up there as one of the largest online retail sites in the world. Again, we'd love to share more details on how we use our own technology, our software, and our partners to help run Dell Technologies better. So in closing, we are here to help and we're here to listen. How well does your customer experience meet their needs? How quickly can you convert raw data into meaningful insights for your organization? Can you get insights you need to predict and anticipate future changes that might affect your organization? How fast can you pivot to address new requirements? We have innovative technology solutions designed for the data era. Unmatched expertise. We help store, secure, and process more data than anyone on Earth. And along the way, we've helped organizations large and small around the globe in every vertical to solve their toughest data management challenges. Learn from our journey, and we can learn from yours. Together, we can partner to overcome these real-life challenges and to accelerate your own transformation. And hey, hopefully we can make your job a little easier.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. And that was, well, if I may be allowed to put it, supremely articulate. And I'm sure that each of us stand much the better for having heard your views, perspectives, and guidance on modernizing storage to craft the intelligent enterprises of tomorrow. Folks, I trust that you're enjoying the content that we've created and crafted for you today. Your views, of course, truly mean a lot to us. And to that aspect, kindly do fill out the feedback form at the end of the event. We value your views, and we'd much like to understand and examine what your perspectives and your feedback and recommendations are. Moving on in this event, while we've heard eminent CIOs and IT leaders and industry subject matters, really, one question that certainly begs the merit is around modernizing storage and aspects of fiscal prudence. This is simply because while organizations move to capitalize on all flash data storage appliances that eliminate traditional trade offs in performance, scalability, and storage efficiency, with a data centric, intelligent, and adaptable infrastructure that transforms and mobilizes both traditional and modern workloads, the cost implications are equally important. And in order to, well, examine pressing issues to do with fiscal prudence and budgetary allocations on storage modernizations, we now have the privilege of inviting Mr. Venkatraman GS, Chief Financial Officer at Subex, to hear his views on how financial controllers and planners of fiscal and economic methods within organizations approach data management and subsequent storage modernization. I will now be in a fireside chat with him to understand his views on how CFOs of today are looking to modernize storage and data management in a fiscally prudent manner. Please put your hands together for Mr. G.S. Venkatraman, CFO Subex, that I will be in conversation with. Hello, Venkat, and delighted and a privilege that you can be here today for the simple reason that, while we've had a few segments earlier, it was imperative for us to understand the CFO's perspective, the financial controller's perspective of how data management by itself has evolved over the last few years and certainly over the last about 16 or 18 months, given organizations' needs for modernization and more insights-driven decisions. So from that perspective, Venkat, my question to you is, as a CFO, what is your perspective on the evolving landscape of data management by itself today and as we move forward?
Sure. Thanks, Sajjan. Happy to be back talking to you. Yes, I think, as you rightly mentioned, I think the need for near real-time data and data which is actionable has only kept going up increasingly over the years, and the business obviously wants information which is near real time, which they can act upon and take business decisions, and not some report that you're producing for the month which went by or the quarter which went by after 1 week or 2 weeks or a month after, where some of that information might be dated or it may not be as relevant as it would have been had it been near real time. And of course, I think in the last 12 to 18 months, given the pandemic, I think the need for of this information being available online and whenever it can be accessed only has gone up, right? I think so. Therefore, so that only has further accentuated the need for this. But I think organizations have been working to solve this problem, and I think from a siloed approach, which most companies used to have in terms of, let's say, if you have an ERP system, the ERP system will have a set of data, then you have a HR management system, which has got a set of data points, or you have your supply chain system, which have a set of data points. And then earlier, you used to have some data warehouses people used to build and then try to get all this information and then generate analytics. Versus now, I think more and more companies have realized that you need to have a data lake, which kind of captures all the information which is available in the company in one place, and then you can kind of mix and match and pick what you want to do and provide insights. And that's where I think a number of new platforms and solutions have come up where they're able to stitch all this together. I think earlier, if a company had to put together a data lake of all the data which they have in the company, to create a data lake and get all of that together itself could be a 1-2 year or longer project depending on the size and scale of the company. Versus now, where there are solutions. For example, even Subex, we launched a platform called a Hypersense, which exactly solves this problem. So the fact that, and interestingly, we work with the CFOs of all these telecom operators and go and present exactly the same problem, saying that yes, you have data which is dispersed and sitting in different silos. here is a solution which can kind of bring all this together. It could be, if you already have a data lake solution, fantastic, then you can use that. If you don't have, and we can stitch all this together, and there are multiple modules where you could use a dashboard solution, or you could use the latest AI/ML modules to get insights in terms of what those data are saying. And these AI/ML modules are so good, they can kind of process all this information and start providing you actionable insights in very quick, near real time situation. So I think the key, therefore, Arjun, is for finance organizations or for the CFOs is to recognize the need for this. And I think, and more companies and CFOs are already doing that. I think it's just that it will get accelerated with some of these new solutions being available, because the time to market or the time to rolling out of a solution comes down dramatically with some of these solutions. So therefore, I think people, and of course, I think that the need for actionable information is not coming down, right? I think everybody wants to have actionable insights which they can quickly act on, and therefore the adoption is only getting faster, the way I see it. But I think so. Obviously, the key is to pick what areas you want to focus on, and I think the ROIs for these investments are fairly real and quick, and it can be very clearly measured. So, and that's where the investments also are getting approved by the business and the CFOs far more easily.
Fantastic. I genuinely loved what you said, Venkat, because I think you very beautifully established the fact that, business requirements or enterprise requirements in a fairly hyper competitive economy or a marketplace that we are in today, uh, the need for organizations to become intelligent, to become far more agile than they classically or traditionally ever were, has just taken out very mammoth proportions. But if I could ask you to take a step back, sir, which is that while you've articulated the concept of how data management is evolving, I do you agree or do you fathom that perhaps one of the bigger challenges that you as a CFO, along with a larger team, IT and so on and so forth, would need to solve is, where the data really is and how it is stored intelligently? Because you just said something that's 30 days old is of no value to anyone anymore.
Correct.
So my point
Yeah,
and question is, does data management modernization equally means modernizing how you pick up, capture, and store the data?
yeah, yes and no, Arjun, I would say, because I think, see, much as we would love for all of this information to be available online or in some cloud solution provider, for all of this data to be available for people to be able to access and analyze and process, we all have to recognize that all enterprises have their own security and other concerns, and how they've been processing the information so far, right? So it's not as if everybody is just waiting to switch and then move all their information onto a cloud, right? So therefore, so we'll have to be realistic with that. To that extent, there will be data, and there will be a lot of data which will be sitting within the enterprise. But I think that doesn't limit these solutions being deployed. I think if you look at any of these newer solutions which are available, they kind of recognize that yes, there will be a lot of information data which enterprises, companies are comfortable being housed, stored in different servers within their organization or even their own data centers. But there are solutions which can be deployed on-prem or a hybrid cloud model, or a completely cloud model, which can still leverage all of this information and provide the ability to use the newer solutions for you to be able to do your analytics on top of that, which can provide much more real-time and actionable insight. So it doesn't limit the enterprise ability to what they want to do. So that's the way I would look at it.
Interestingly, and of course, that's Subix, Venkata, you are certainly more aggressive adopters of technology, because we've known and you've been early starters in adopting technology. But my question to you also is that as you evolve in this journey of maturity as an enterprise by itself, infrastructure modernization classically will play a very critical role. Now, in that context, Venkat, one of my questions to you is, from a CFO's lens, has the investments of fiscal and budgetary allocations towards technology modernization, has it kind of dramatically changed from how it was about 3 years back or perhaps even earlier? Does the CFO today look at technology modernization and fiscal prudence and budgetary allocations in a slightly radically different manner than you would have? Do you measure different metrics?
Yeah, so I think, see, what we definitely look at nowadays, or more so nowadays when we look at any of these investments, is what is it just a refresh of technology, right? I think particularly if you're looking at large scale investments which are not around your desktops and laptops and other stuff, but you're looking at, let's say, your core ERP, or the infrastructure which you need to run some of your basic systems, and then you're looking to make fresh investments. Is it just a upgrade stroke refresh of what you have, versus is it new investments which you're making to get newer business insights, or evolving business models which is leading to some of those technology investments which is being required? So then the questions you need to ask is, okay, so what is the problem which we are trying to solve? Are we refreshing our existing systems for us to get better throughput, better efficiencies of those systems? Or some of them, I think sometimes enterprises also kind of keep pushing those decisions, right? So you kind of keep waiting for those hardware or infrastructure to get to a point saying that it is end of life and no more available. And therefore, then you kind of say, okay, now I have no choice, but I still have to go and refresh it because I've kind of extracted the maximum juice possible from those investments.
Good.
Yeah, versus saying that, okay, are these newer investments which we are making either because of the changing business model, or we are just not able to get the right kind of business insights or actionable insights which we want, and therefore we need to make these investments. And so when you ask questions around that, saying that what is the problem you're trying to solve, what kind of ROIs are we expecting because of this, and then when those conversations happen, then it's very easy to make those calls to say that, okay, yes, these investments are required, right? So it's no more just saying that, okay, what is the payback of this investment? It's about saying that what is the business outcome are you really trying to solve? And therefore it makes it easier, because I think a lot of enterprises are also changing their business models. It is no more just only insights, right? Business models are changing. Companies used to let's say somebody was in a traditional services mode, they've got another platform, and therefore they need to have offering which is as a service, and therefore that needs a certain level of investment. So it could be business models also which could drive some of these investments. So therefore I think if you ask the right questions in terms of what is the problem, and then therefore what kind of ROIs are we looking at, then it becomes far more easier to make those decisions.
Interesting. And I do have a view on the clock, and we've got 3 minutes, so I'm going to try and squeeze in two very quick questions. Therefore, towards the larger industry of IT practitioners, CIOs, and IT professionals, what is your essential guidance as a CFO on how conversations on budgetary allocations and fiscal prudence should be approached when it comes to allocation of sizable budgets in whatever manner possible?
Yeah, see, I think if you look at CFOs, they always, there is a rule of thumb you kind of apply, right? Saying that, okay, my IT investments typically should run at, let's say, depending on the industry, could vary between, say, 7 to 11% or 7 to 12% of revenues of what most companies run at. And therefore, when you do budgetary allocations, you kind of use that as your thumb rule to say, okay, yes, that's what I would typically like to keep my investments at. And therefore, so the conversations could be on those lines when those budgets are approved. But having said that, I think and most organizations do recognize that I think times are changing, and there are multiple options available, right? Particularly if you look at even whatever percentages I spoke about, a large chunk of the percentages historically has been towards hardware and infrastructure, right? And a smaller share towards software and other services which is used for developing. So therefore, and that fortunately over the years has become far more affordable, I would say, in terms of hardware and infrastructure. And there are also multiple options, right? You don't necessarily have to build data centers all the time for your own needs. There are multiple options available with all these newer providers who can make available infrastructure on tap, right? You could pretty much can decrease your demand as you need. So therefore, there are multiple options available. And therefore, I think when budgetary discussions are being made, if the conversations of what are those newer initiatives the IT organization or the business along with IT is looking to drive, and what are the business benefits we are going to have, if those discussions happen earlier, then as you finalize budgets, then budget finalization is more a outcome of that exercise rather than actually getting into those discussions. So I think it's critical that those discussions happen early, so that you understand how is that going to impact the business, or how is it going to transform the business. Then budget conversations will be far easier.
Thank you. And in passing and in conclusion, are CFOs the new and the latest evangelists of technology within organizations?
I think if you look at many organizations, I think many organizations, the IT or the CIO works with the CFO, right? I think many times it's part of the CFO organizations in a way. So therefore, in a way, you're already kind of part of the. It's under you, and therefore you need to find ways of supporting that organization. But even let's say it's not so, and there are many large organizations, it's not the case. I think it's not about us versus them, right? I think it's about what is it that these teams are looking to do, which is going to help larger organizations. So I think as long as all of us recognize that, I think you will have to support. And of course, I think the need for adopting technology and using technology to the maximum benefit is always the case. And I think every organization who has done that well and who's adopted it early on has seen fantastic results in terms of business transformation, right? So I think it's no more an option. I think it's an imperative for everyone to do so.
Thank you, Venkat. But that's pretty much what I know you have time for today, and you've got to run to a fairly hard schedule. Venkat Raman GS, it has been a privilege having spoken to you. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thanks, Arjun. Nice talking to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Venkat. And that was truly, if I may be allowed to say so, fascinating discussion. Thank you very much. And we're very deeply grateful for you having taken time out from a busy schedule and articulated your extremely supreme and very nuanced views on storage modernization and data management with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I trust that you're enjoying this event, and do stay tuned with us, and we'll be back with the next segment in just a moment.
Future of data storage. Data storage systems have become a mission-critical component of enterprise IT infrastructure. Organizations are adopting storage solutions that are agile, scalable, secure, and flexible. What matters is the value that data brings to your business. Here are few data storage trends for 2021 and beyond. A. Adoption of hybrid multi-cloud. Hybrid cloud storage solutions typically connect users to a variety of storage options, including file storage and sharing, object storage, block storage, and backup systems. A hybrid cloud strategy is also helping organizations gain better insights into their data. B. Investment in AI. With AI, companies can control data storage across multiple platforms to achieve efficiencies that result in reduced costs and risk by minimizing the human element. They also reduce the time to process data to determine the value of that data. C. Software-defined storage. The industry continues to move towards software-defined storage solutions that eliminate the complexity of hardware systems and help companies cut costs and optimize the value of their data. And D. Storage consumption models. Storage as a service, or SaaS, allows you to pay only for the capacity you use. In the past, you had to predict how much storage you needed in advance, resulting often in overspending and underutilization. With SaaS, you can access capacity on a subscription basis and scale up or down on demand, possibly resulting in enhanced agility and cost savings.
Thank you once again, folks. And that's pretty much all that we have for this event today. Thank you for taking our time and joining us. And we truly hope and trust that you enjoyed yourself and, well, took back a few points that you could incorporate, having heard such eminent industry and business leaders from across the globe, really. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Dell Technologies, the sponsors of this event. And in conclusion, really, thank you once again. And please, do not forget to fill up the feedback form. Your views, as I've articulated, are supremely important to us to help curate such and better more events in the days and months ahead. Thank you once again. Stay safe. All the best and God bless.
We started with computers. We didn't stop at computers. We didn't stop at storage. We didn't stop at cloud. We didn't stop at wholly integrated intergalactic solutions. We kept going, working with our customers to enable the kind of technology that can guide an astronaut back to safety, or help make a hospital come to you instead of you going to it. And we didn't stop there. We're even working to make packaging that comes from waste instead of producing it. Because we saw a world that was full of challenges and ready for solutions. So when it comes to your business, you know we'll stop at nothing.